KWE. Evening, Rev. You're on live right now, and I had to log off because this damn thing was killing me. It's 5:48 in the evening, West Coast time, Saturday the 29th of June, 2024. At times I'd say I'm a zombie. Emotionally screwed up, sleep deprived. Or is that emotionally deprived and sleep screwed up? Not tonight. How about pain driven? That would work for me at this point. I don't know. Yesterday I sprained this damn thing, and this is like last year's injury, re-injured all over again. You move too much on the thumb. Well, if you happen to stretch this thumb, you feel the stretch in here. You feel the muscles pull in here, especially when you're pulling more. You feel more of the strain in here, the muscle groups. Yeah, well, it got to the point where I re-injured something I did last year and had to go to an urgent care. This was last year's urgent care present. So it's Tylenol, compresses, rest. Not using much workout on this thing. Yeah, happens. Story about that one there. I called my health insurance about it and told them, look, I'm going to get on a bus. I'm going to get over to the hospital. Well, actually, to the doctor's office, have them take a look at the thing. I got an urgent care. Kaiser has that out here in California. And I was almost getting myself prepared for it. I'd handle it if I had to. No, they'd send me an ambulance. My large girth on a damn stretcher. Are you kidding me? Holy cooly. Okay, so I get over there, urgent care, and hardly anybody there except for one other person. So I wait. I'm still in pain. I had small braces that I sleep with all the time because of tendonitis on both wrists. You pound on a keyboard for a lifetime. Yeah, it happens. 58 years old and about 40 plus years of pounding on keyboards. Yeah, it does damage to the wrists and everything else. Anyway, so I used those all type of wrist braces. Had to get them replaced with this one for this hand. Nothing they could do for a muscle except let it heal for about a few weeks. So I have to let it live in this. I sleep in these things. Are you kidding me? Go across the street, get some pain medication, and then come back home on a bus. 3 weeks later, I'm working on this thing. Concerning about the video, yeah, we'd like to get it coordinated somehow because I've never done a live feed before with another person. I've tried it a few times myself, but I'm not quite sure how to do that one. So I sent you links through the chat log, and I'll have to send video links again in the descriptions. Whatever I can, whatever you need to get hooked up. I tell you one thing, I've become an introvert these days, I tell you. Hardly can ever get out of my house, except just to get DoorDash to get some grub every 3 or 4 days. I haven't been to the local liquor store in about 1 or 2 years. And I usually frequented that place. I'll tell you something, Reverend. My personality and my behaviors and my moods have changed since passage of people that I cared about a great deal, including, if you look behind me, of the cabinet, when you were watching the video, top shelf is the ashes. Dogs and of my mother and my brother. Said before in my videos, and I'll say it again on this one, Ma's been since 2013. Dave's been 2018. And yeah, it does weigh heavily on me. Stories in my videos about getting this apartment with my brother and also about regarding the homeless situation. Right after Ma's death, we had a problem with an apartment complex we were living in at the time. They were evicting us for one stupid reason or another. We had legal assistance on that one, but we still couldn't keep it. We found a place out in Roseman, trailer home, lived there about a year and a half, but most of that time we didn't think that we were going to be putting ourselves in legal hell during that time. Fixed mortgage rates are one thing. What gets you is the park itself and its rates for everything. And they kept raising them up. We couldn't say it. And my brother and I had to be stupid enough to say, no, we're not going to pay it. Well, guess what? We got evicted months later. Some of our stuff was put into a storage room, the place we had, and we rented out a truck to put the rest of the stuff in it, what was left. But all the other heavy-duty stuff that we actually had were still there. Some of the stuff we sold off, our personal stuff. And I did videos. I was crying my eyeballs out on this one. This memory still gets me, and so does everything else on it. It just does. I'll tell you, when you become homeless, man, it's a hell of a process. I've been in the areas where they came across being homeless. I've been to resource centers. I've been to a county facility for GR money and GR food stamps. My family's not, you know, my family had history over this thing throughout my lifetime. My mother knew when she was taking care of two elderly ladies and two boys, one 8 years older than me, Dave. And she was on the state. She was on state furlough, got state money, but she also got GR money to help pay for everything, for the food and stuff. We still have money for rent, thank God. Barely paid enough for the rent, for the bills, but the state helped pay for that until the ladies died off, one by one. Elderly aunt, grandmother, man, I made videos on these damn things, crying my eyeballs out afterwards. I had to because I was still kicking my ass. But I know what the process is like back in LA County, growing up, and the stigma, and I know what it was like having a job for a long while. And then going back to it again, shit. Humiliations go up by listening to the damn process or learning the bureaucracy all over again. There's a stigma between carrying GR food stamps and, I mean, talking about paper versus card. I still have card because I'm on Social Security, but I don't get as much out here. We're in the county I'm living in. Back in LA, a little bit more because of the matrix and geography, I guess. If you get a certain amount of Social Security or limited income coming in, either by state or by Fed, you're only given so much allotment. The less you get, the more you get from the allotment. Until there's a dollar range, and then after that, you're screwed. You're dependent upon what you have to force yourself upon. So I've been doing that for a long while. Disabled for a long while. Videos talked about me getting injured on the job, the last job I had. I've stuck with the injuries, both mental and physical, on that one. And then Ma dies. And then the eviction, staying at a trailer home for nearly a year, but we got evicted out of that damn thing because we said no. We were protesting like several other families did. We wind up in court and get screwed over that way, homeless that way. We put a U-Haul truck into the red and flagged by California Highway Patrol. We're going to lose it. But David turned it in at the last second. So, living at a motel room for nearly a month with our stuff in there. Living on handouts left and right. Food giveaways. Taking care of 2 dogs and 2 adults. Me and Big Brother. David couldn't work because he was on disability. Back and neck. No, I'll take that back. It was back and knees and PTSD. Veterans Group helped us out. We got into an apartment here. Past year and a half, it's been bug ridden with the damn cockroaches. They still haven't got rid of the damn stuff out of the complex, but working on it. Still going to college. I think maybe about a semester or two before graduation. I've been at it for nearly 10 years. Before David and after Ma passed. Dave and I had an argument one night. If his health ever deteriorated, just continue to go to college. Ignore him. I practically tore his face off on that one and said, Dave, we don't do that to family. You know that. Ma would have never approved of it in the first place. Ma told us never to put her into a nursing home, and I ain't putting you into a nursing home. This is it, pal. I'm taking care of you. John, you also promised Mom. Yeah, I know, and I promised you too. And I also promised Mom. I'd take care of you guys, and I did. Don't argue. Well, we argued, and that was it. We just put it aside. Dave gets hit with transischemic attacks in his head well after his 60th birthday. Next thing I know, he passes away from respiratory illness. Changes my world entirely. But when he had the transischemics, he was losing speech and mobility. I helped take care of a grandmother and an aunt and never even realized I was turning into a caregiver at the time. I took care of Ma decades later, working my ass off at a job, but also doing 24/7 after that if I had to. Backed up my brother while he was doing the 24/7 to Ma. When she was bedridden the last several years of her life. God, that was hard. But I did it anyway. I wish I could have done it again. It hits me every time anniversaries, holidays, their birthdays, or the anniversary of the death comes up. Man, I tell you, I have to keep going to therapy over this. Been about a year and a half, I think. Talking to the therapist. I think it's been about a year. We're talking about this and other issues. Therapy's good. Doing the videos for a longer time than that. Just getting the stories down because I was using these things as lifeboats. That's all I was doing on my channel, Reverend. Is just using these things as lifeboats from my memory in case I get into the situation where I'm not able to recall anything anymore. If I happen to fade away mentally, but physically I can just stare right at you. I'd seen my aunt do that. It scared me. I seen how grief and mourning and pain can eat a person alive. My aunt was 2 years older than my grandmother. Even Grandma and Aunt May would argue on some occasions, but we both knew. Actually, they both knew. Why? I think Ma figured it out, but I was too damn young when it happened. I met Aunt May's uncle. Aunt May's husband. His name was Uncle Al. Well, to me, it was Uncle Al. I only met him briefly in my lifetime, but he made a difference. But he made the world difference to my aunt. A frail elderly lady who was pining away in a nursing home, put away by one of my relatives who was acting as as the primary caregiver. De facto, what the hell was it they called it in those days? In legal terms, I don't. We had to do the same thing to Ma. We had to have a representative talking on behalf of you. Forgot what the terminology is. It'll be on the tip of my tongue eventually. Power of attorney. Durable power of attorney that my brother had over Ma, but there was a complete power of attorney that one of my uncles had over Aunt May, and Ma didn't like it. She had a fight with him, and then brought Aunt May home. And for a few brief years, we had Aunt May and Grandma living with David and me and Ma in one house. Dave was going into the military, so I grew up without him for last year and a half or two, I think. But see him from time to time on leave. But Aunt May, How can a kid understand what a grieving heart goes through unless he's already been through it? Been through death once before, but that was just, I couldn't fathom it, I guess. But I looked at me being so sour and dour and angry. She wasn't angry, she was in pain. She wanted to die. She had a pacemaker. Pacemaker wouldn't help much regarding a grieving heart. All I did was climbed up on her lap, grabbed her cheeks, both hands, and said, I don't care how mean you are at me, I still love you. I guess in that moment, maybe her husband was speaking through me because he changed a great deal on that. He changed a great deal. And for a short time, I had a new best friend. Tore me apart when she passed away. She passed away minutes right after my birthday ended, January 30th. January 31st, 1979. I can't even tell you the date of my grandmother's passing. I can't. It's about 81 or 82, I think. Or 83, somewhere in that area. And it was hard as hell to deal with it. It was hard as hell to deal with it. But I tell you, it hit me hardest. Several months after her passing, I was in a junior high. Bus from one location to another location. I had a dream before I left. I had a dream I was in my bathroom getting ready for work, actually getting ready for school. And there she was in her blue and white housecoat, actually in her gown, smiling at me. I guess the only image I ever had of my aunt was being in a blue and white nightgown. I'd seen her dress up, but basically the nightgown was his signature. And that day I cried. I had to hold it in during the study times. I tried to focus, but every so often it was breaking down, and I got home and I couldn't hold it in. I couldn't hold it in. Back in '79, things changed for seemingly the worst. Grandma stroked out, had to be bedridden. Ma and Grandma had an argument before the stroke hit, and Grandma was going to see her kids, she decided, out in San Diego. One of them was the caregiver, actually the one with the power of attorney for Aunt May, Ma's closest brother. Next thing we know, we get a call from San Diego. And Ma's flying down. Oh, actually, she's driving down. Leaves me with a surrogate family we had adopted, and they adopted us. It was hard to sell seeing Grandma being wheeled in from the hospital to home, to a new home. I mean, we actually moved from one place to another place. We got evicted. Had a pastor that didn't live close enough to his church, so he decided to buy a property close to it, ours, for his family. We got evicted. I mean, '79 was a screwed up year, I tell you, Reverend. It really was. Started busing originally from one area to another area in the San Fernando Valley. That was one thing to get used to, but man, having Mom and Grandma go after each other after we moved into a new place, it had been about a couple of weeks already, and things were getting heated more and more. I'm going to junior high, taking another bus just to get down there, but regular transportation. And then I have to deal with a grandmother whose half mind is there because the right brain wasn't working. Literally, the right hemisphere wasn't working. And the left was. Left was controlling the right. But half the memories were gone. How does a kid deal with this? Mama wasn't about to put Grandma in a hospital or in a nursing home. We were the nursing home. I had to learn how to be a caregiver during that time. Plus, learning school. Yeah, it was. Huh? I mean, it's like, huh? Oh God, how do you deal with shit like this? How do you deal with this shit like this? I mean, even we tried to go into church, but we couldn't do church anymore, so we turned on the old television, dealt with Robert Schiller and Hour of Power. Grandma actually had a Catholic priory sending over some nuns. And once in a while, they'd visit Grandma just to see how she was. Grandma was Catholic. I wasn't raised Catholic. I was raised Methodist. But you don't disrespect the cross or the cloth. You don't. So sometimes Sundays we'd see them, and other Sundays they didn't. But just something to keep Grandma occupied a little bit. The rest of the time kept us nuts. Must have been about 82, 83 she passed. That was hard on the family. I had to go working. I'm still in school. Transfer from junior high to high school, and then everything else goes hell in a handbasket. Reason why I keep doing the videos is so I can keep talking about memories like this. I mean, if you've seen how many videos I've pumped out, and see how many people are actually watching it from time to time. Well, if I start touching about politics or maybe a little bit about recovery, 12-step recovery, I'm pouring my life and my soul out here, and sometimes I'm not trying to make the subscribers like everybody else is trying to do. I'm doing as memory lifeboats, but I do my experiences. I talk about what I've gone through. What I'm going through right now as it is. I'm struggling. The therapist had some charts and graphs regarding it, how much I'm struggling because of what I'm answering on the questionnaires I get. Every time there's an appointment, I have to do it about 24 hours before the appointment so they can chart what's going on. My therapist finally showed me the charts. Yeah, I knew that was going out of my damn mind. I already lost my mind. I also lost my heart a bit. I'm still taking care of an elderly dog that's struggling like crazy. I'm holding on to her as a lifeboat. I'm selfish and self-centered in this way, Reverend. I don't want to lose another family member. I don't know how the hell I'd be able to deal with it. And I haven't talked enough to God about this one because I am definitely going nuts on this one. I say I should get out of the house. I should get out of the house. I know I should get out of the house. My damn back would let me, if my damn body would let me, if my heart and soul would let me to get outside the house. I look forward more to going to the college because I get out of the house a little bit, but only if I know my dog was all right. But now my dog is not, and it's harder and harder for me to deal with that one. I like going back to school. Challenge my head, challenge my brain, challenge me something. But every single day, my dog sometimes, she's having a hard time struggling with her own blindness, or near blindness anyway, being deaf, and she's feeling lonely half the time. She'll whine. She'll even be in front of me and not see me and whine. All I can do is love her more and take care of her the best I can. That's all I can do. That's all I can do. Deal with a bug war on a constant basis, and the damn cockroaches have been in this complex for God knows how many years since the place has been built. I've heard it's been built for 15 years, or 16 years coming up. I've been here since, God, when was it again? 2015? Not that. 2015. And part of those 3 years is with my brother. I don't know who I miss worse, Ma or Dave. I think mostly Dave. We had been through a hell of a lot. We'd watch each other's back. He taught me to watch each other's back. Watch his back, he'd watch mine. He'd been watching mine since I was born. So I had to do the same thing for him all the time. Take care of him. I don't know how the hell God would deal with a schmuck like me in the first place. I'm a full-blown idiot. I don't think I'm a wonderful person, okay? I pride, ego, megalomania at times, but I'm really not that much into myself. Yeah, I used to be a long time ago, dude. Holy crap, I said megalomania and egomaniac, me? Yeah. Can I show you something? I'm going to lean. Probably don't see it as much. Somewhere buried in there are boxes. Underneath all that fluff and stuff. And some of those boxes I have over there. Well, let me move the damn shirt. Give me a second. Okay. Get that off. Used to be my brother's. My shirt. Yeah, that hurt. Bunch of junk, huh? Some of it is. Actually, memorabilia, keepsakes, certain books, paperwork ready for next term. All the stuff in this area. 12-step material recovery in this one. All the other knickknacks, books, photographs, personal effects of my brother buried down here somewhere in bags. In this area, more memorabilia, boxes of pins, lapel pins, drives, flash drives, and junk. Yeah. Dave never did get himself a shirt. He's got himself a sweatshirt. It's Ma's blanket now. It's got her sent out more often, but it was something my brother would wear when he was actually able to a long time ago. My brother and I started off over at Antelope Valley College. I didn't think I was going to be able to get back into it. He tried for about a semester and a half, and he couldn't do it. He physically couldn't do it because his heart gave out on him. But I did, and he reveled every time I kept trying to get a semester down. I was getting above a C average, almost to a B average. He's like, I know you could do this thing. Yeah, talk to me about it. Years ago, Dave. I was kicking my ass back then, and I didn't have the perspectives for it. Many videos on that one. But I was talking about Eagle. Those lapel pins I had were replacements for some of the stuff that I'd lost a long time ago. I'd wear a black vest with science fiction and NASA patches all over the damn thing, and I'd put scores of pins on it. I'd have a Disney vest with scores of pins on it. All I got now is photographs of the whole thing. That's might as well. Stored digitally now, the images. You ever seen Star Trek movies? I'm not. I'm not talking about the remakes. I'm talking about when they came out earlier on. You know, the pipings that they would have and the metal that they'd wear. Hell, I'd wear that all the time. Have a characterization for the thing. You talk about ego at work. It's like I'm walking here with about 5-10 pounds of pins of metal on me. Just that was a pain in the ass. I like to collect them every once in a while these days. They're interesting. I'd toss them in there, and they never see the daylight ever again. I'll get them pinned. I'll get them pictures of them again. Put them in posters. Maybe sell them off. Some of the pins I still collect, and still haven't got rid of. But yeah, pin fanatic. Yeah, but with an ego, major. You ever try walking into a recovery hall with that much metal? It's not the metal, it's the attitude. That was me with the attitude. I was better than you guys. And I didn't hit my bottom during that time. We got to talk in another video. I got to limit some of these things here. So you'll forgive me if we happen to do part 2 here.